I will welcome you all, okay, to just join this demo. If we will talk about today, we will be going to talk about something named as BIG-IP Application Security Manager, that is ASM. Okay. Before starting in, I just wanted to know my audience are aware about F5 or not. So maybe can you just do let me know? Are you guys okay about the F5 products, the LTM, or maybe are you working on ASM also? Faisal, Wasim, Albenat. Okay, over the chat I can see now. So it's all right. Let me start it. So Albenat, you do? Okay, great. So maybe I need to put it from the scratch, and I will try to give you enough, I will say, overview about the ASM whenever we are complete this particular demo. So BIG-IP, if I will talk about BIG-IP, BIG-IP is nothing but F5 has their own environment, okay? And this environment can be on the traditional hardware, the virtual hardware, on the private cloud, on the public cloud, anywhere you can just put it. It can be hardware basis or it can be software basis. So these hardwares or softwares are having the BIG-IP product, covering the BIG-IP product family total, where you can provide a lot of things like around the application availability, around the access control, around the security solution. So BIG-IP, if I will talk about, it is nothing but it is an interchangeable naming convention with the F5 software or the hardware products. And not only ASM is there are a lot of products you guys must aware about it, like LTM, local traffic manager. So local traffic manager is a platform, BIG-IP platform. Again, you can create the virtual server over there. You can create some kind of profiles, the performance services, the protocol, the authentication, security profiles. You can just put it in between to do the typical load balancing and more than that. And that is the reason it is known as ADC, Application Delivery Controller. By the way, LTM is treated as a foundation for the enhanced service. Like if you wanted to go for the DNS, although DNS, ASM, anything, you can run standalone as well, but maximum people will use LTM also. And on the top of that LTM, you are using these things. And when I am talking about DNS, what is DNS? DNS again, nothing. BIG-IP product family, one more module named as GTM earlier. Okay, the former name was GTM, the Global Traffic Manager. So if you talk about the LTM and GTM, in the contrast of LTM and GTM provide the services around the globe, the multi-site scale, I would say. And DNS offer a lot of other services like to distribute and secure your DNS traffic, advertising your application namespace, and a lot of things. There are a lot of other products like APM, like AFM, okay, the policy manager, the firewall manager. So all of these products are demanding in the market, and we are talking about some product named as ASM. So when I'm saying ASM, it's nothing but it's some kind of you can say the WAF. Okay, it's a WAF solution from the F5. So anybody can let me know on which layer ASM works. If you have working on the ASM part, can anybody let me know on which layer it is working?
Application layer.
True. So it's a layer 7 product. Okay. When we are talking about ASM is the layer 7 product. Now, it's layer 7. It means it required HTTP profile. It means it required a TCP profile. Later on in our classes, I will be going to show you some of the practical where I will just miss this HTTP profile and you will feel like that the security policy cannot be applied. Those who are not aware about these terms, about the security policy and about the TCP profile, it's all right. Perfectly fine. I will be starting up with the very basic. So this is somehow I will say the overview. Okay, this is the overview of the ASM. Let's proceed further. Now, like you can see there is some term WAF, what I was talking about. WAF is Web Application Firewall. Please do note it who are not aware about it. WAF and ASM are interchangeable, terms. And we are also talking about the advanced WAF. What is the difference between advanced WAF and the simple WAF? Probably we will be gonna cover later on, okay? When I will be providing you a couple of the more feature set about the ASM. But before going there, let me talk about one of the very important feature of F5, that is TMOS. Okay, TMOS. Can anybody let me know what is TMOS?
Operating system used in F5 products.
That's true. So it's nothing but it's the operating system. And when I'm talking about TMOS, TMOS is not a single term. TMOS can be treated as a collective. I will say it is a collective term. Okay, collective term to describe the completely purpose-built, your maybe custom architect, I will say, which F5 has spent a lot of years, and they have done their significant investment to developing the foundation of the F5. Okay, and now from high level, if I will talk about, TMOS is nothing but it is a collection of modules. Each module perform a particular function. So why I am discussing about TMOS? Either you talk about LTM, either you talk about GTM, either you talk about ASM. All of those things are using TMOS architecture. Okay. Now I am saying TMOS architecture. Why I am focusing so much on the TMOS architecture? Maybe let me give you a very, 2 or 3 terms to tell you how these TMOS architecture is useful for us. Okay. Let me bring up my whiteboard. 1 minute, please. Okay. So we were talking about TMOS. And TMOS, as Faisal was saying, that F5 boxes are built upon on the Unix or the Linux, you can say. Okay, Linux. And they have built up on that their own operating system, which is known as TMOS. And TMOS is taking the BIG-IP product to the next level, literally. Okay. The TMOS architecture is the extraordinary. Maybe you can build the custom build modules on it. Among the most of significance, some of the most widely used are Tcp Express. Tcp Express. So anybody aware about Tcp Express, please? Kindly please make this session interactive, okay, so that all of we can discuss a lot of things. Anybody aware about Tcp Express? It's all right. So this is nothing. This is a LTM topic, I will say, but TCP Express people can ask in the interviews also. Let me tell you a very brief introduction about it. So we are aware that if we talk about the router, if we talk about the switch, there is a client, there is a server. Okay, any request which is going, it will going through your router or either through the switch to the backend. That is something named as packet by packet design. We are aware about it. But whereas if I will talk about F5, F5 is something which is working as the full proxy. Can anybody let me know what is full proxy, please? Anyone? Full proxy. This is the LTM concept, actually, not even LTM concept. I will say generic concepts. No, it's all right. I will.
The F5 product will act as forward proxy as well as reverse proxy.
Right. Now, let me tell you, those who are not aware, those who wanted to, go about more of the detail about the proxies, you can please go through this particular, blog. Like FILTM is forward proxy, reverse proxy, or full proxy, and what are these proxies about? A good, just 5 minutes, I will say, a joke to see about this. But in the layman term, let me tell you, full proxy means when client is sending traffic, it will not go to the server directly, but the endpoint would be your proxy device. So here the proxy device is F5. Similarly, F5 on the behalf of this client, F5 on behalf of this client will initiate a request with the server. Now, what happened with this? Let me please delete this and let me talk about it again. I am saying there would be two connections. One connection is between the client and F5. Second connection between the F5 and the server. It means all the TCP handshake, all of the SSL encryption, decryption, all of the compression, caching, everything will be done on the F5 now. And F5 will generate a traffic on the behalf of client to have these all of the details from the backend server. And here we can be having one server or we can be into the load balancing more than one server. That depend upon different pools. Like if you are using different pool members in a single pool or how many pool members you have. Now, if we will talk about the full proxy, how the full proxy is taking into the consideration. So full proxy, let me tell you one more thing. F5, let me put a star here. F5 not always act as a full proxy. Can anybody let me know in which condition it is not acting as a full proxy? Okay. So when you don't have the virtual server as a standard, okay, maybe you are using only the L4 perf. In that case, it is not acting as a full proxy. But by default, it is always considered as that F5 is your full proxy device. Now, when I'm talking about full proxy, please try to understand what the people are saying, what the F5 is claiming. F5 is claiming something named as TCP Express. Okay, we were talking about the TCP Express. And TCP Express is a feature which they are saying that it is a collection of your TCP efficiency improvements, even in the basic RFC which was generated for the TCP protocol. And F5 not only done a single or the 2 or 3 kind of improvement, but the hundreds or dozens of improvement. These improvements are based on your extensive real world experience. Okay, so if you are using TMOS, you are using TCP Express, and TCP Express has changed their RFC. They claim that even their traffic is much faster than the legacy TCP IP stack. So TMOS is having that TCP efficiency improvement, including a lot of stuff. Probably if you wanted to go in the details, I can tell you, but if not, that's all right. So let me take maybe 1 or 2 or 3 names. Okay. So if you will talk about some of the names, like TMOS is supporting your delayed or selective, I will say selective acknowledgements. Okay. All of these things are from the backend. They also support your explicit congestion notification, or named as ECN notification. All of these terms are the TCP based. If you are not understanding, please do not worry. We will be going to talk about all of these things in the classes in detail. Okay. Then if you talk about limited and fast retransmissions, okay, if I will say retransmissions, and more features are added. So since it is using TMOS, I am saying it can use something named as TCP Express. This point is clear. If anybody has any doubt, you please feel free to ask. I will try to answer you again. No? Sure. Let me. So, excuse me. So this is the first point, TCP Express. Let me describe one more point, or maybe 2 more points. One is named as fast application proxy. Again, it's not dependent upon the ASM. The points which I am talking about the TMOS architecture. If you are having the LTM knowledge, probably you should be having discuss about these kind of points. So what is your fast application proxy? Again, it is nothing. The proxy stack is another differentiator what I was describing earlier. Now, here it is the F5 these are the clients, maximum of the clients which are coming through, maybe over the internet or intranet, anywhere, on the servers, backend servers. Okay, someone was asking some question. Sure. So now what I was talking about, the full application proxy, that it is supporting TMOS architecture, and since it is supporting TMOS architecture, a lot of things like HTTP compressions. Maybe you guys are aware about the networking field. Before this SDN, okay, the software defined network, there is a lot of things which are maybe I would say it would be not cost effective, the internet things or the MPLS thing or the private thing. Okay, these were not cost effective, and there we used to apply some kind of compression techniques. So F5 can provide the HTTP compression techniques. It can provide you the caching techniques. It can provide the SSL acceleration techniques. Okay, how? Because it is acting as a full proxy. Since it is full proxy, you guys must be aware, when you are opening any of the application by HTTPS, it means it is secured. Since it is secured, you should be having some kind of SSL or TLS, but obvious SSL is legacy one, so TLS only. Now in the TLS, you take these services from some kind of like a CA, certificate authority. You take the certification, and the certification does some kind of, I will say, SSL handshake. Again, I don't want to go in the deep, okay, over SSL handshake here. But if you guys wanted to know about the SSL handshake, you can just go over there. Here is a article about the SSL handshake. There we have provided a lot of information. Enough information is there about the symmetric, about the asymmetric, like handshake, and how the keys are built upon, how the end-to-end encryption and decryption happens. So these SSL acceleration happens because it is full proxy. Then, as I told, caching, I talked about QS. So QS is also supported, right? QS, TOS, or I will say the layer 7 rate shaping is also allowed. And why it is allowed? Because of fast application proxy feature. What is fast proxy feature? Nothing, just because it is working as a full proxy device. I must say, you guys have heard about the third point. I am trying to discuss about the third point. Those who are working on F5, you have heard about this thing, I rule. Can anybody let me know what is I rule? Okay. I rule is nothing. I rules, I would say it is a capability of the TMOS architecture again. Okay. That you can write down your own scripts on the basis of some language named as TCL, tool command language. Very easy to understand, and create couple of the I rules. So I rules can insert a lot of things. Let me take some of the name. Maybe if you wanted to tweak out some kind of HTTP cookies, you wanted to alter it, you can do it, right? You wanted to do some kind of DNS rate limit, you can do it. You wanted to add some of the maintenance message if there is no pool member available, you can do it. You wanted to selective require SSL client probably based on the certificate, you can do it. So there are a lot of things that you can achieve through the iRule, even in the ASM as well, LTM, GTM also. Yeah. Now, one thing very important. What F5 claims, F5 claims that there is no other device in the world that can implement such kind of highly sophisticated logic via their inspection feature set, that is iRule. So it is really making a difference when we are talking about the TMOS architecture and when we are talking about the simple device, which is just intercepting as a full proxy, but cannot do such a huge sophistication. Okay. So this is just an introduction. Actually, I just try to build up some of the introduction. Okay. Later on, I will give you the practical like demo also. Don't worry. I will show you the devices, I will show you the lab, but I need to first, start it from the scratch so that everybody over here should have the enough information about the ASM. Okay, let me go ahead. So I will ask a question. Okay, we had a lot of firewalls, right? We have a lot of firewalls. Then why we required ASM? Why the ASM is running in the field? We had a lot of firewalls, Palo Alto, Checkpoint, ASA, lot of.
We can protect the servers which are hosted in DMZ zone or public facing servers.
That's true. That's true. So even DMZ zone can be for this particular like firewalls also. But let me tell you, with the continued growth of web application traffic, I am talking about web application. With the continued growth of web application traffic, an increasing amount of sensitive data is exposed to a potential theft, security vulnerabilities, and multi-layer attacks. Now we are talking about what? We are just talking about layer 7 attacks. That is where the ASM puts the difference. Okay. As I was talking earlier, that ASM is layer 7 thing. It's not layer 4, layer 2, or whatever thing are. So when we are talking about WAF or ASM, web application firewall, the traditional firewalls work on layer 3 protection, maybe layer 4 protection, but they don't, understand the complexity of the web applications. Okay, so web application have their different complexity. So ASM allow you to accept or maybe expected some kind of application behavior on the basis of layer 7, and the 0-day those kind of thing, all these kind of frauds can be mitigated when we are putting the ASM in between our DMZ servers and in between our clients. So ASM fill the gap between the traditional firewalls. Okay, and it is known as application protection firewall. Okay, so it is web application firewall. That is the reason it is called, named as. Now, what kind of vulnerabilities which our our applications, I will say generic firewalls are not able to understand, but ASM is able to understand. Let us say this is a client. It is opening abc.com. This abc.com is having the SSL or TLS kind of certificate also. So when this guy need to open the abc.com, he or she will be gonna open abc.com with like that. This request will go on directly to the server, and there is man in middle attack. Okay, or maybe this user is the hacker. Probably I will say this user is the hacker. In the feedback session, the person can write down its own script. That script can hack this database server probably. Whatever this web server is using, the database server in turn, that database server can be hacked. Okay, or there can be lot of layer 7 attacks can happen on the basis of parameter tampering, on the basis of lot of things. Okay, we will be going to talk about these terms in our classes in a very detail, in the practical manner, but currently I am just talking about like how the web application firewall helps us with regard to the traditional, I will say, firewalls. Okay, so that is how your web application firewall will be in the place. Now let's talk about a couple of the vulnerabilities. Now, when we talk about the web application, and when we talk about the attacks that is happening on the web application, the first top 10 attacks are produced always by OWASP top 10. Okay, OWASP top 10. What is OWASP top 10? If you are not aware, you should be aware about it, because if you are working in the security field, especially for the web application security, OWASP top 10 is nothing but I will say it is a standard awareness document. Okay, that is produced in 3 or 4 years. Earlier in 2017, now in 2021, new report is there, where they provide us the top 10 critical security risk on the web applications. So when we are applying the ASM, it means we are mitigating the top 10 vulnerabilities provided in the OWASP top 10 eco. This is one thing. Okay. Second thing. Okay, there are a lot of features. Probably I am talking about a couple of the features here. Like, okay, anybody aware about what are the bots? Bots. What are bots?
What are the system in the internet used for DOS attacks and all?
True.
And DDoS attacks.
True. So these are very small automated attacks with respect to the web robots, I will say. And in short, we used to call them as the bots. Nothing. Simple programs, we will say. And these programs are just generated to exhaust the application traffic with the intent to theft or with the intent to break the services. Okay. So let us say if you don't have, where is my, this is a bot. Okay. This is a server. This is generating so much of the request, probably, let us say. Okay. Simple username and password request, or the brute force, I will say. This bot is generating this request. Application is going with the TCP handshake. Application is doing with the revert also, whatever requests are coming, and it is keep on bombarding. This application will get down after a certain capacity. Okay. But when we have the F5 in between all of these attacks, using the DDoS profile, using the bot profile, using the brute force, a lot of things are web scraping are there. So such kind of technology we will be using on F5, apart from the simple attack signatures or simple maybe the parameter tampering or something. Okay, we have lot of profiles available. These items and these entities will block all of the traffic beforehand it is sending to the server. It means legitimate traffic is going as it is. But if traffic is somehow the vulnerability it is containing, it will get stopped on the F5 end, and it will send you a report named as support ID. It will give you a support ID that, okay, your request is blocked and this is such and such is the reason. So that is how your application security manager can avoid such kind of vulnerabilities. So it is mitigating these kind of attacks. Is it clear? Okay, I am treating your silence as yes. Let's talk about some more features. If you see here, what F5 will do. On the top, probably I will just talking about the very common terms that it disallow the vulnerable traffic. As I am telling you, if parameter, any of the parameter is containing some kind of script, containing maybe some kind of Ssl injection attack, okay, it will disallow by your F5 box. Okay, then detect and mitigate the malicious bot access. So there are good bots, there are bad bots. Probably we need to provide what are the good bots, what are the bad bots, and depending upon that, we can tweak out lot of configuration that, okay, how we can mitigate these kind of vulnerabilities. Then prevent from exploiting flaws in the business logic. So there are a lot of business logic, like if your business is, if your application is sending all of the detail, what kind of database it is using, what kind of web interface it is using, all those things can be removed using the I rule or maybe different profiles by using the F5 ASM. Now, better visibility of the attacks. What kind of attacks are targeting? Let us say if some of the attack is happening with the DOS or maybe with the brute force or maybe with the web scraping, any of the attack is happening, your F5 box will present a very neat and clean report that from when it is started up, what is the heavy URL, okay, what is the country from where these attacks are happening, and how we can mitigate the attacks. Probably I will be gonna cover that, and I will be talking about those things later on in our classes. So behavioral mitigation, web scraping, bot detection, already talked about. So there is something named as security policies. Okay, Those who are not aware, let me tell you, you can just read the security policy. Security policy are as the set of some rules, set of rules. If you are the networking people, you can just relate it with the route map, where different access lists are the called, and if one of the access list is blocking, the traffic will not pass out. Similarly, security policy. On the security policy, you can apply a lot of things, items and entities, including your attack signature, including your parameters, file types, URL domain, cookies, redirections, anything, including your web scraping, boot forts, a lot of things. Okay, you can apply all of these profiles on the security policy, and security policy will send the traffic to the backend servers only and only there are no vulnerabilities detected on the F5 side. Okay, as I told you, I will be gonna show you each and everything today only. Okay, in the classes probably in the very great detail, but today also I will be gonna give you some of the details about the security policy and about the some of the vulnerabilities. Yeah, so I will suggest, if you will wanna just join the ASM batch, you can join it from today. Probably we are starting it from the next weekend, and from where to start, maybe you can just contact with us using our website netminion.net. Okay, so if you will go to the netminion.net, you can just go and you can just have it from the chat options, or the maybe I will say there are a lot of options to come over there and to talk with us. So you can just go netminion.net. Not you. So you can just click on this WhatsApp, you can click on this chat, okay, to understand more about these things. But that is again a separate thing. Let us go ahead and talk about some of the labs. Now, when I'm talking about these lab tasks, one thing very important, without practical work, you cannot understand the new technology, right? And probably if you need to do some kind of migration, you need to do some kind of interview perspective you wanted to read. If you are going for the certification perspective, you cannot go ahead and do these kind of things, achieve these kind of tasks without the lab. So NetMinion is providing you our own lab to everybody of you who are joining this batch. This is our lab system. Okay, we will be going to explain about the lab later on, but here two things what I wanted to describe about, like there are two applications. These are two the application servers, and there is one F5 which is acting as the LTM and ASM both. This is acting as a management PC and the external user also, from where we will put some of the attacks on these websites, and we will try to resolve these attacks using the ASM box. Okay, so without any further, maybe I will say delay, let me just open this PC. Let me just maximize this screen, and let me show you the configuration of F5. This device is acting as a ASM and LTM both. Now, if you see, if you go to the system resource provisioning, you can see we have the LTM and ASM both, right? So both of those things are already in the place. Now this security field, we need to talk about all of these things, okay, in our classes, not now, in our classes. But before that, let me show you virtual servers. That is our LTM part. In virtual server, you can able to find out we have two virtual servers created. One is for PHP and one is for DVWA website. So this is DVWA, this is PHP. Let me try to open this. If I will open this, okay, as HTTPS, this should be my PHP website, and second website is 80. Let me open that. You can see we have the DVW. Let me log in probably. Okay, here we go. So we have two applications where we will put some of the attacks, and I will show you how to mitigate those attacks and how F5 will send the support ID and how we can see. Okay. So before doing those kind of attacks, probably I will be just gonna talk about two of the attacks. One is the Sql injection, one is the brute force. So before doing Sql injection, let me tell you, there is a complete series of injection attacks, PHP injection or LDAP injection, lot of injection, out of which SQL injection is most common. What is SQL? SQL is nothing, but it is a language of love. When you open abc.com, let us say, I am just giving you an example. This will go to a web server. And if you need to talk with some of the username, password you are putting, or you are putting some next of things, it means you have a database server also. Don't worry again, if you are not aware about these components, I will be going to talk about these components in detail whenever our classes will start. Okay. So when abc.com will talk with a web server will talk with database server, and this is the language of love, that is SQL. Okay. Structured query language, if I'm not wrong. And hacker can initiate some of the attacks using different fields, the feedback field or parameter or the username parameter, lot of parameters. I am going to show you that. Okay. And they can hack this database server very easily, very easily. Lot of attacks code you can able to find out on the web, maybe on the Google, I will say. Now let us generate some of the attacks and let us see how these attacks can be mitigated. Before creating these attacks, let me create some application security also. Okay, just to show you. Let me create two maybe. One is for DVWA. Okay, let it be rapid. Virtual server would be DVWA. Low wall request. Let it be transparent. What are these? Fields are probably I will be going to explain you one by one, bit by bit, whenever we are going in the classes, not in the depth. Okay, otherwise it will be a huge like time taken there. Let me add a couple of things. Maybe SQL is the mandate. Let me put the SQL. Okay. Let me save this policy. So I created a security policy. Security policy, again, let me tell you, nothing but set of rules, what we need to define. With the respect of that rules, our traffic will be forwarded further. Otherwise, it will be get blocked by our F5 ASM. Okay. And how F5 ASM is able to know that this security policy is applied or no? Again, we will be going to talk about those terms in our classes. There I will be going to talk about something named as LTP, local traffic policy. Okay. But later on, not now. Okay. In today's session, we cannot complete each and everything. But so far, if there is any doubt, please feel free to ask. No doubt? Good. So what I am doing is to go to this particular website. I am applying a security policy. And whenever I apply some of the attacks on this particular application, I need to be aware that, okay, what are these attacks? Let me just delete these things. These are the previous. Let me create one more security policy for another interface, that is PHP option. Right. So I'm just giving some name. You can give any name. I'm just give PHP option. Again, let it be rapid. Virtual server, it should be the PHP. Okay, automatic, it's all right. Server technology, let me put 2 PHP and SQL. What are these? Again, we will be going to talk about that later in the classes. Let me save this. Now let me provide you some of the detail. Meanwhile, it is getting created. So what we are doing is, this is our client, which is a hacker. This client will go to the web server through the WAF of F5, and WAF is ASM. Let us say this is application server, which can be PHP and which can be DVWA in our case. What happened is, I will generate an SQL injection attack. I will show you how to generate that on PHP and on DVWA both. From the F5, I will show you that F5 is aware this attack is happening. Attack is happening, it is aware, but it cannot block that because policy need to be put into the enforcement mode. Even the attack signatures also need to be put into the enforcement mode. What are those? Please ignore for the time being. Probably I will be gonna talk about those terms in our classes. But I will show you that when I am doing such kind of attacks, your F5 is aware that okay, such kind of attack is happening. And to generate this attack, how I will generate this attack? Every application, whatever application you have, must have the username and password to get configured. Even in the username parameter, you can run the Sql injection attack. So that is what I am trying to show you now. Okay, let me go to the PHP option. Here in the username, this is my SQL injection query. This SQL injection query, without my username and password to put, or the authenticated or the credentials are not correct. But if I will press go, you can see I am logging over here. It is just a logic which is saying 1 = 1, which is always true. My database is full, and my database, if you will go to the control panel, okay. Your control panel, you can see each and every user information is visible to me. Although the credit card is also visible to me, which is very, very wrong. All the configuration is coming in the one go. This is a highly, I will say vulnerable application. Such application should be these kind of attacks should be mitigated using the F5 ASM. But let me see first, either my F5 ASM able to catch this, that okay, this attack happened or not. For doing the same, you need to go to the event logs. We did it where? We did it on PHP auction. So let me see that on my PHP auction, is there some attack happened? And you can see, let me just make it maximize to show you everybody. One attack signature detected. What is this talking about? This is saying SQL injection attack happened. What is the query? This was the query. On which parameter? This is on the parameter, and parameter detected keyword is nick. So probably this is a nick parameter where we are putting out such kind of attack. Is this part clear, guys? Are you getting this point? Okay. Same thing I can do with, maybe let me go to the SQL injection. This is some another application. Here also let me do the same. Again, SQL injection attack I am creating, submitting this. And it is also giving me all of the username and password, all of the details. Probably I can find out more the details if I will apply some more SQL tricks. If you go to the application like ASM box, and let me just clear this particular filter, and let me use this time DVWA. Apply. You can see one attack signature. Let me find out this whole detail. You can see it is also showing you that SQL injection happened. Okay, on the global parameter level. There the parameter can be different because different application, different parameters, different working. I will be going to talk about all of these parameters. If you just go down, you can even see all of the headers. Can you see this request header? It is the get thing, what is the host, what is the connection type, accept, and all of these headers. Probably we will be going to talk about this cookies domain, all of those things in the very, very practical manner. We will be going to talk about. But before going ahead, let me say that, okay, I don't want such attack to be happened on my website. It should be mitigated. What I need to do, let me go on one of the website, application security. This application security is in, it should be into the blocking mode, the very first requirement. Okay. Second thing, okay, let me save this. Every time you are making save, you need to apply the policy. I will be going to talk about. Second thing, all the attack signatures should be enforced. Let me just enforce them. Enforce all stack signature. And I am doing it where? I am doing it into DVWA. Can you see above here where my cursor is happening? DVWA. Okay. Let it get saved. Then we need to apply this policy. And after that, we need to make this attack again. And we will try to find out either this time this attack is going to my application server or not. Let me apply this policy, say okay. Now, if you have different interfaces available, or I will say if you have different applications available, you need to put all of these kind of policy tuning on all of the separate policies. If you are not aware about the policy tuning, we will be going to talk about that again in the detail. What all the issues you will get. I will be going to talk about that also, because I am a working professional, so I can give you a real time scenario. Let me put this policy into blocking, save it. Now I am doing on PHP option. You can see PHP option. And let me go to the attack signatures. Let me say every attack signature should be enforced. Post this, I need to save my policy to get it reflect in the action. It will take a minute or two. Don't worry. Okay. Now, meanwhile, let us go to the DVWA. And let me just refresh it. Just initiate this attack again. Put submit. Can you see? This attack is blocked. And blocked by whom? Blocked by ASM. Now you can have a question. How, sir, it is blocked by ASM? How you can prove? Let me prove. First, let me apply the policy. Okay, the PHP option as well. And then I will show you that how these attacks are not now going to the application security backend. So backend servers are safe now. And the reason why? Because we are applying the ASM. ASM is checking out or inspecting each and everything. Okay. Now let me go to the event manager, event logs. In the event logs, let me just make it bigger. You can able to see even the support ID. Support ID is 29314 in the last. What support ID we are getting? 29314. What this support ID is talking about? This request is blocked. Okay, this is blocked. Why it is blocked? Because it is having the SQL injection. Earlier it was not blocking. Now it is blocking. If you want, why? Probably again we will talking about this stuff later on in our class when we need to talk about security enforcement, the attack signature enforcement, and a lot of other things. Okay. Same way, PHP option, let me log out. And let me initiate an attack over here. I am having a separate, support ID that is 29324. Let me close this. Let me close this. 29324. Let me just refresh it. Okay. And you can see 293T324 is there, which is again getting blocked on different website I'm showing you. And it is capturing that, okay, it is having Sql injection. These part are done by whom? These part are done by your attack signatures, not only by the attack signatures. Are you guys aware about the brute force attack? Anybody?
Yeah.
So what is this brute force attack?
The attacker will use like dictionary based user passwords, or attacker will use some kind of word list.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So let me show you. Let me show you one of the brute force attack and how to mitigate this. Okay. HTTPS. This is my PHP auction website, where maybe on the login page, this is my login page. I will do an brute force attack and it should be mitigated. What brute force attack is saying, if my application is not having the brute force attack, protection, anyone can put the username and password, and the goal is, in the end, I will get the access. I will get the access on this website. And I am just talking about in very layman term. And I can do a lot of such stuff which I should not be supposed to. If you think so, in your banking account, if you're doing 3 times wrong username and password, you will be get blocked. Remember? Okay. And lot of, maybe I will say, the good websites are having such kind of protection. But let me just put this kind of protection through the ASM now. So I am just putting some of the logins like A, then AB or whatever, BD, BDT, anything, and it is allowing me. It is allowing me endless, probably you can say, the login thing. So if somebody is having the bot who can do the credential stuffing, or maybe who can create the brute force attack, it is a security risk on my web application. Let me create something named as brute force protection. Probably you will not be able to catch everything, but you will be get sense, okay, how the brute force happens. Let me go to the brute force attack protection. First, it will ask that, okay, what is the your URL? So maybe I need to create a brute force attack. I need to create a login page. Login page is, I need to define that, okay, where my brute force attack can happen. My attack can happen over there. It is HTTPS. Okay, it is HTTPS. This is my link. Parameter, username and password. If you want how to find out the parameter, I will tell later on. Now, expected response code. Let me use one of the condition. Access validation that 302 should be happened. Let me make it minimize and create this. So this is my login page. Let me just make it enable for the credential stuffing. Let me put very small, maybe values like 1 after one username only, probably. Okay. I'm just using very small values. What are these values? Probably I will be going to explain you in a very detail later on. But you can see I just created some brute force related configuration on my website, and this website is PHP auction. Earlier I was doing AABBCC as many as time, and it was not stopping me, right? But this time, ideally, it should get stopped after a while, because I just provided one username maximum. So maybe after the 1 or 2 times, it should be get triggered. Okay. What all are the vulnerabilities techniques? Probably we will be gonna talk about those in the later, with very great detail. But let me show you this. Okay. Let me just put A. Okay. Now ASD or whatever. Can you see it? There is a support ID coming. I can find out the event log with using the support ID also. If I will go to the event logs, although it is appearing over here, but let me show you. Can you see this? Can you see this support ID field? Put your support ID here and click on apply. Can you guys see what is this talking about? It is saying the brute force attack is happened. Okay, because we have configured a very minimum attempts, that is 1 by 1. So it is showing you that one attempt is exhausted, and it is now showing me that you are under the brute force attack. Similarly DOS, similarly DDoS, similarly web scraping, and lot of other things. That is like lab. How I will be, or we will be providing lab to you guys, and you can perform these of all of these tasks by your own. Okay. This slide is just talking about old students or old candidates, I would say, what they are talking about, the comprehensive plan, what we are teaching. Probably you can go to the YouTube, you can go to the Google reviews, you can go to the LinkedIn, and you can able to find out a lot of reviews over there. Probably I will say you can go there and you can see. About me, myself is Radhe Verma. I am CCIE Enterprise Trainer, automation for the Python, F5 and GTM ASM, then SD-WAN, lot of technologies, including wireless and access I used to teach. And here we will be gonna together for the F5 ASM batch. In conclusion, if I will talk about the facilities, very first, I will say the benefit is you are just taking the training from the one who is already working professional, right? You are not getting from a traditional teacher, because I can provide you the lot of details. What are the issues that are coming in the real-time scenario? What application team will say? How you will tune the policy? Those things probably I will be gonna talk about in a really great detail. Except probably only the teacher who is telling you about these kind of technologies. We will be also going to talk about the interview preparation or probably the troubleshooting skills. And we have a group where we used to provide out a lot of jobs, assistant, what we used to come with. Practical classes, you will get 24/7 lab, certified trainer, again, need not to say. So workbook you will get to set up your lab initially, okay? That all things you will be getting. On the top of that, all of things what we are telling you are getting recorded. You will get recording for your own purpose for free, no extra charges. And you can get these things through the portal and through the app also. If you are using Android or Apple, whatever code you are using, probably you can just use those kind of apps. Okay. Last but not least, thank you for joining this session. This batch is starting from next weekend. Okay. It would be having around 6 weeks of the batch, Saturday and Sunday. Okay. 2 hours each day. So probably you can say 1.5 months you will be gonna talk about. Okay. So I would like to say thank you again to everybody who joined this session, and we'll meet in the classes